The stars were quiet that night, or at least they seemed to be. On the edge of Earth's solar system, a deep space listening station picked up something strange, a signal. It was weak, broken, and full of static. The message came again and again, repeating the same sounds like a voice crying in pain across space. At first, no one could understand it. But there was something in the sound. Fear. Panic. A voice begging for help. Scientists at the station worked for hours, then days, trying to decode the signal. When they finally cracked part of it, they froze. The voice did not belong to a human. It was alien. A species called the Zilari, and their message was simple. Please, help us. We are dying. The news spread fast. Earth's leaders held emergency meetings. Some thought it was a trick, maybe a trap. Others wanted to ignore it. It's not our problem, they said. But a few people could not look away. They were not scientists or politicians. They were warriors, veterans, soldiers, and survivors of Earth's deadliest places, Deathworlders. These were men and women who had seen war, pain, and loss, and they knew that a cry like that should never be ignored. One of them was Captain Ryan Graves, a retired space marine with a cold stare and a quiet voice. He had seen the worst of war, but he had also seen courage in the darkest times. When he heard the signal, something inside him stirred. No one else is going, he said. Then we will. Ryan contacted others like him, fighters, medics, engineers, hackers. They were all tough, skilled, and ready. They didn't wait for permission. They started building a fleet using old warships, advanced AI, and every piece of tech they could find. Some called them fools. Some called them heroes. They didn't care what the world thought. All they knew was that someone out there needed help, and no one else was going. They named the mission Operation Dawnstrike. It would be dangerous, maybe even suicide, but none of them turned back. As the fleet got ready, they listened to the signal again and again. Each time they heard more pain. The Zilari were losing. Their world was falling. And something in the message hinted at a strange enemy, something called the Shadows. No one knew what the Shadows were. The signal didn't explain. The Zilari voice only cried about how the stars were going dark, how the light was being eaten. Some on Earth laughed at the message. Fairy tales, they said. Scared aliens talking nonsense. But the warriors took it seriously. They had seen enough to know that fear usually had a reason. Finally, the fleet was ready. 7 ships filled with weapons, armor, drones, and warriors. Captain Graves stood before his crew, his voice calm and clear. We're not going to save the galaxy, he said. We're going to answer a cry for help. That's who we are. That's what we do. They launched at night, leaving Earth behind. Families cried. News channels argued. Some called them heroes. Others called them criminals. But the fleet disappeared into space, chasing a broken signal, chasing a voice. For a few hours, everything was quiet. Then, the station that first heard the message picked up something else. A strange wave of energy. Not from the Zilari, but from Earth's orbit. It lasted only seconds, but it changed the signal. It was almost like someone was rewriting it. Far out in space, the fleet's communications began to flicker. Static filled the screens. And then, just before they reached deep space, a warning flashed. Unknown ship detected. Stealth mode. Tracking us. Captain Graves stared at the screen. Someone doesn't want us to help, he said. Now I really want to know why. In the command room, the crew sat in silence. The stars outside looked calm, beautiful even. But in their hearts, they felt something else. This mission was not just about saving the Zilari. Something bigger was coming, something hiding in the dark. Something that didn't want humans to get involved. And yet they were already out there, already committed. Earth's warriors had answered the cry, and whatever waited in the shadows would soon learn why Deathworlders were feared across the stars. The engines roared softly as Earth's warriors moved deeper into space. Their fleet was not large, but it was powerful. Each ship was built for war, upgraded with old Earth military tech and new experimental AI systems. These were not government ships. They were made by the hands of veterans, engineers, and survivors. These ships were fast, silent, and deadly. Captain Ryan Graves stood on the bridge of the lead ship, Valkyrie 1. Around him were the best warriors Earth had to offer. People who had survived the worst parts of Earth, dead jungles, burning deserts, frozen wastes, and ruined cities. These people were called Deathworlders, and they carried Earth's fire in their hearts. As the fleet moved away from the solar system, the crew felt the weight of what they had done. They had left everything behind: family, comfort, safety. They were alone in space, heading toward a dying planet based only on a broken alien message. But none of them doubted their choice. In one of the ships, a young engineer named Lyra watched the signal again and again. The Zilari voice still echoed. Through static, "Please, help us, shadows, they are everywhere." She didn't understand all of it, but she could feel the fear in the words. It made her stomach twist. Whatever these shadows were, they weren't just monsters. They were something worse. The scientist on board, Dr. Elias Kern, was silent most of the time. He didn't talk much, but when he did, everyone listened. He had once worked in secret labs under the Earth's surface. Now he studied the alien message with sharp eyes. He noticed something strange. "The shadows," he said quietly. "They're not just attacking, they're learning, changing." No one knew what he meant, but his voice made them uneasy. Meanwhile, Captain Graves noticed something else. The ship's AI picked up a strange reading from behind. It was small, quiet, and fast. A ship, cloaked, following them since they left Earth. The fleet's sensors had missed it at first, but now it was clear. Someone from Earth didn't want them to succeed. Graves ordered his crew to stay alert. "We don't know who they are yet," he said. "Could be spies, could be worse. We keep moving. Back on Earth, the news of the rogue fleet spread. Some people called them heroes, others called them reckless. The world's governments denied helping them. But the people watched. Millions followed the story online, hoping, fearing, praying. Far, out in space, the fleet passed through a dark zone. No stars, no planets, just endless night. It was a dead part of space, a place where even light seemed afraid to shine. The crew called it the Black Corridor. No signals came from this area. No ships returned from it. But the path to the Zilari world went right through. Inside the ships, tension grew. Lights flickered. Cold whispers moved through the halls, only heard by some. One warrior said he saw a shadow pass by his bunk, even though no one was there. Another heard her name being called by a voice that wasn't human. At first, people thought it was stress. Then, one of the ships lost power for 5 minutes. When it came back online, a drone was missing. Gone, without a trace. Captain Graves gathered his team. "We are being watched," he said. "Not just by the cloaked ship. Something else is here. Something old. And it knows we're coming." They pushed forward. Each night felt longer than the last. The AI systems reported strange energy patterns. Dr. Kern studied them. "This is not random," he said. "It's like something is breathing out there, watching, waiting." Then a message came through. It wasn't the Zilari. It was from the cloaked ship behind them. A single sentence. "Turn back now, or you won't return." Graves didn't flinch. "Tell them this," he said. "We already died once. We're not afraid to do it again." The message was sent. Silence followed. The fleet reached the edge of the Black Corridor. Ahead of them was the path to the Zilari homeworld. Behind them was Earth and everything they had left behind. No one spoke. Every face was serious, every hand ready. And then, as they crossed into unknown space, the stars returned, but not as they remembered them. Some blinked strangely. Some were gone. And in the distance something moved, like a shadow with no form. The fleet slowed, weapons ready. Whatever waited ahead, it knew they were coming. The Death Worlders had left Earth. Now the galaxy would feel what that meant. The stars around them had changed. Some were gone. Some flickered like dying candles. The fleet moved slowly now, deeper into space where no maps worked. This part of the galaxy was empty, silent, and dark. It felt wrong. Even the AI systems whispered alerts that didn't make sense. False signals, strange echoes, flickers on the radar. But nothing solid, nothing clear. Captain Ryan Graves stood on the bridge of Valkyrie 1, watching the black screen. He had seen war on many planets, but this felt different. It felt like a graveyard. The Death Worlders called it the Ghost Path. One ship, the Iron Wing, picked up something ahead. A space station, old, broken, floating without power. It wasn't Zilari. It was alien, but not from any known race. The crew decided to check it. Maybe it held answers. Maybe it held survivors. They sent a small team inside. 5 warriors. They moved through the dark hallways with flashlights and pulse rifles. The air was still. The walls were scratched. There was no light, no power, but there were signs of battle, burn marks, claw marks, and blood. Inside the control room, they found a data core, mostly damaged, but a few logs remained. When the logs played, the voices inside were not calm. They were screaming. They came from the dark. No eyes, just shapes. They take your thoughts, they steal your mind. Then silence. The warriors looked at each other. None of them said a word, but they all felt the same cold fear. Dr. Kern studied the logs. The shadows don't just kill, he said. They erase. They destroy memory, identity, maybe even souls. Back on Valkyrie 1, Lyra worked on decoding more of the Zilari message. It was hard, but she managed to open a second part. The voice now sounded broken, weak, like someone whispering with their last breath. We hid. We tried to hide. They found us anyway. They become what you fear. They wear your face. That line chilled everyone. They wear your face. The fleet continued moving. They passed more ruins, ships torn apart, stations left drifting, planets burned to ash, and not one survivor. No bodies, no signs of life. Just empty, cold silence. It was as if everything had been erased. One night as the crew rested, alarms went off. Movement on the outer sensors. Something small, floating near the fleet. A rescue pod. Captain Graves ordered it brought aboard. The pod was old and damaged, but it carried one life form. To everyone's shock, it was a Zilari. Barely alive, the alien gasped for air as medics rushed to help. Its skin was pale blue, eyes wide with terror. It spoke in short, fast words. Kern translated slowly. They are not just creatures, they are hunger. They grow. They learn. You fight them. They change. They used our minds against us. Graves leaned close. What are they? The Zilari's eyes filled with tears. They are shadows. But they are born from light. Your light. From Earth. The room went silent. Later, when the Zilari slept, Kern called Graves aside. He's not lying, he said. I've found traces in the shadow's energy signals. They carry human design, human code. Someone used Earth tech to make them. Graves clenched his fists. Are we fighting something we created? We don't know, Kern replied, but they remember us. As the fleet moved again, things got worse. One of the drones flew out of formation. No signal, no control. When they tracked it, they found it had returned to the exact spot where the ghost station was, and it was broadcasting human voices, voices of the crew, things they had said in private, their secrets, their fears. Lyra whispered, "It's copying us." Soon after, one of the warriors, Mason, disappeared. His room was locked from the inside. The door was sealed, but when they opened it, he was gone. No trace, no blood, no sound. Just one thing. A word scratched into the wall in perfect handwriting. Watching. Everyone on board grew tense. They started speaking in short words, looking over their shoulders, sleeping with weapons nearby. Even the AI systems began to glitch, showing reflections that didn't match the crew. Sometimes the AI used voices of people who were missing. Then, another signal came from ahead, a planet. It matched the Zalari homeworld. But it was wrong. The ES reading said the planet was still there, but it showed no life. No cities, no power, just darkness. Something had covered the planet in thick clouds, not weather, not smoke. Something alive, something massive. The AI gave the report. Planet covered. Energy life form detected. Unknown size, unknown shape. Captain. Graves stared at the screen. He didn't blink. "We found the shadows," he said, "and they know we're here." The crew stood still. The final part of the message played again. "They wear your face." Now they were close. Too close to turn back. Earth's warriors had entered the heart of the storm, and the storm was watching. The planet was quiet. Too quiet. The fleet stopped just outside the thick black clouds that surrounded the Zalari homeworld. From above, it looked like a shadow had swallowed the planet. The surface could not be seen. No heat, no light, no life. Only darkness. Inside Valkyrie 1, Captain Graves stood with his officers watching the live feed. "Anything moving?" he asked. The AI replied, "Yes, the clouds are alive, changing shape, like they are breathing." Everyone in the room went silent. Dr. Kern scanned the data again and again. "It's not smoke, not gas, it's a life form. It's feeding on energy, light, sound, maybe even thought." He paused, then added, "And it's growing." They sent a probe into the clouds. As it passed through the outer layer, the signal remained strong. The video showed twisted ruins of Zalari cities. Buildings melted like wax. Roads cracked and broken. Then something moved. A shape. Tall. Thin. No eyes. No mouth. Just shadows. The probe shook. The screen flickered. The AI gave a warning. System compromised. The video turned black. A message appeared on the feed written in perfect English. "We see you." The crew froze. Captain Graves didn't speak for a full minute. Then he gave the order. "Get ready. We're going in." The fleet moved slowly, each ship silent as death. As they entered the clouds, the light vanished. Even the ship's own light seemed weaker. It felt like they were swimming through thick ink. Inside the ships, the crew could hear soft whispers. At first, they thought it was the AI. Then they realized it was in their heads. Voices from their past. Old fears. Lost friends. Some heard their mother's voice. Some heard people they had seen die. One soldier screamed and ran down the hall. When they found him, he had clawed at his own face, whispering, "It's wearing my skin." Lyra stayed close to the Zalari survivor. He was still weak, but his eyes were sharp. He warned them, "Do not believe what you see. Do not trust what you feel. The shadows copy, twist, break you from the inside." Graves formed 3 boarding teams. They would land on the planet and search the ruins for survivors or answers. His team landed near the capital, or what was left of it. The buildings were half-eaten by darkness. The walls looked like they were made of ash. The first thing they saw was a figure walking toward them. A human woman, dressed in Earth military gear. She looked calm, familiar. "Is that one of ours?" someone asked. But Captain Graves had seen too much. "Hold fire," he ordered. "That's not real." The figure walked closer. Then it smiled and its face melted. Behind the face was nothing, just a hole. A deep, dark hole full of teeth. The warriors opened fire. The figure exploded into black dust. Suddenly, the shadows all around them began to move. The shapes came from every side, walking like people but wrong. Their arms bent the wrong way. Their legs moved without sound. Some had no faces. Others had too many. Graves shouted, "Circle up! No one breaks formation!" They fought hard. Pulse rifles burned holes through the shadow flesh, but more kept coming. For every one they destroyed, two more appeared. The warriors fought with skill and rage. These were Deathworlders, trained to survive Earth's worst places. But this enemy didn't bleed. It didn't scream. It didn't stop. Then, Graves saw something in the sky. A new shadow, bigger than the rest, floating above the ruins like a god of death. Its shape changed every second. One moment it looked like a giant spider, the next like a screaming face. It watched them, studied them. Then it spoke, not with sound, but inside their minds. "Why do you fight? You are already mine." Everyone felt it. The voice inside them. Cold, slow, like ice sliding through their thoughts. One soldier dropped his weapon and began to laugh. Another turned his gun on himself. Graves clenched his teeth. He roared over the comms, "Stay together. Block the voice. Don't listen." Dr. Kern activated a sound pulse system designed to block psychic interference. It worked, for now. The voice faded. The shadows stopped moving. The team grabbed the wounded and ran back to the ship. As they flew up through the clouds, the sky behind them started to twist. The clouds followed. The shadow giant lifted one long arm toward them and smiled. Back, on the ship, they counted the survivors. 5 were dead. 3 were missing. 1 had no memory of who they were. Captain Graves stood in silence. He looked at the message still glowing on the screen. "We see you." He turned to the crew. "We're not just fighting monsters," he said. "We're fighting ourselves." And outside, the planet waited, watching, growing stronger. Back in space, just above the dark Zalari world, the fleet waited. The warriors had returned from the surface with heavy hearts. Many had died. Others came back with fear in their eyes. They had seen the shadows up close. They had felt their power. Inside Valkyrie 1, the mood was tense. Captain Graves stood alone in the control room, staring at the black clouds below. They had come to help, but now they faced an enemy that was more than just flesh and bone. The shadows were something else. Dr. Kern finally came forward. His face was pale, his hands shaking, but he spoke clearly. "I know what they are," he said. Everyone turned to him. "They are not aliens," Kern continued. "Not completely. They were made, long ago, by us." The room went silent. Kern pulled up old records from Earth, hidden files, black projects, secret labs that were destroyed years ago. "It started with a research plan," he explained. "A way to make perfect soldiers, ones that could fight in any place, on any world, in any war. No fear, no limits. We tried to build a mind that could adapt to anything." He paused, but it worked too well. The project was called Shadow Echo. It was a weapon that learned by copying. It studied enemies, copied their minds, their emotions, even their shapes. The project was shut down, or so they thought. But before it was destroyed, it escaped. A small piece of code, alive and hungry, was sent into deep space during a test mission. No one noticed. Until now. Lyra whispered. "So, the shadows started as Earth tech?" Kern nodded. "Yes, but now there's something else. They fed on thousands of minds. Human, alien, machine. And now they're building a hive, a single intelligence, a mind made of many, a god of fear." Graves clenched his fists. "So we're fighting our own mistake?" Kern didn't answer. The Zalari survivor was still weak, but he heard everything. His voice was soft but clear. "You didn't just make a weapon," he said. "You made a mirror. The shadows show you what you are and what you fear the most." Outside, the cloud covering the planet began to move again. A shape formed in the dark, a human face. It was not real, but it looked like Graves. It smiled. Then it whispered, "Come home." The fleet pulled back. For a moment, even the bravest warriors felt fear. But Graves was not ready to give up. He called a meeting. "We came to help," he said. "We didn't know we were the reason this all started, but that doesn't matter. What matters is what we do now." He looked around. Every eye was on him. "We face a monster we helped create, so now we destroy it." Lyra stepped forward. "How? Guns don't stop it. Fire doesn't stop it. It copies us." Kern replied, "That's the key. It only copies. It doesn't create. It has no soul, no courage. It only reflects what it sees. We can beat it if we show it something it can't understand." "Like what?" someone asked. Graves answered, "Hope, sacrifice. The one thing the shadows will never have." The plan was risky. One ship would go deep into the heart of the clouds, to where the shadows were strongest. A bomb would be planted, not just any bomb, but a mind bomb, a device made from Earth's strongest AI and Kern's old research. It wouldn't explode with fire. It would explode with thought, pure human emotion, memory, and truth. "It will burn them from the inside," Kern said. "But someone has to deliver it." "I'll go," Graves said. "No," Lyra said. "You're the captain. You lead. I'll go." Others offered too. Even the Zalari survivor. In the end, a small team of 3 was chosen. 1 warrior, 1 tech, 1 AI. As they prepared to leave, the shadows watched. The face in the sky twisted into many shapes. It screamed. It cried. It begged. "Don't do this," it said in 1,000 voices. "We are you. You are us. Don't leave us alone." But the warriors didn't stop. The small ship moved into the clouds, vanishing into the dark, and far below the shadows waited, unaware of what was coming. The small ship moved into the darkness. Lyra sat at the front, hands shaking slightly as she guided the shuttle deeper into the cloud. Beside her sat Sergeant Dax, a tough Deathworlder warrior with scars on his face and fire in his eyes. The third was not human. It was the AI unit Echo, shaped like a tall silver machine with a soft human voice. Together they carried the bomb. But this was no normal bomb. It was made from pure thought, real human memories, feelings, and hope. It wasn't built to destroy buildings. It was built to burn lies, illusions, and fear. It was the only thing the shadows couldn't copy. Outside, everything was black. Not dark, but black, thick, living black, like they were flying through the inside of a nightmare. Strange shapes floated around them. Some looked like people. Some looked like beasts. All watched silently. Lyra heard whispers again. "Turn back. You belong to us. We remember your pain." She clenched her teeth. "Ignore it," she said. Sergeant Dax loaded his weapon. "Let them talk. When I see one, I'll show it what pain really means." The AI Echo said nothing, but its glowing eyes watched the darkness. As they went deeper, the cloud changed. It wasn't just watching now, it was reacting. The ship's lights flickered, the engines slowed, the radar spun in circles. The shadows were inside the systems now, trying to stop them. Then came the first attack. A shape slammed into the ship. It looked like a dead soldier from Earth, his eyes empty, his mouth open, his voice crying for help. But it wasn't real. It was just a shadow wearing his face. Dax fired. The thing exploded into black mist. More came. One by one. Some looked like lost family members. Some looked like fallen warriors. One looked like Lyra's mother, but none of them were real. The ship shook. "They're trying to break our minds," Echo said. "They want us to doubt." "We keep going," Dax said. "No fear." Finally, the ship reached the center. It was like a giant heart, beating slowly in the middle of the cloud. It pulsed with red light and black veins. The hive. "This is it," Lyra said. "We plant the bomb here." As they stepped out of the ship, the ground beneath them moved. It wasn't metal or stone. It was alive, soft, warm, breathing. The shadows formed around them, hundreds of them, thousands. Some looked human. Others looked like Zalari. Some had no face at all. Then one stepped forward. It looked like Captain Graves. "You came to destroy us," it said. "But we are part of you. We are your pain. Your fear, your hate. You cannot kill what you are. We are more than that, Lyra said. We'll see, the shadow replied. Lyra and Echo moved to the center of the hive. Dax stayed behind to fight. He stood like a wall, firing again and again, keeping the shadows away. Echo began to set the bomb. Suddenly a voice whispered. In Lyra's mind, it was her own voice. You can't win. You're just one girl. You're weak, afraid. She froze. Then she remembered something her mother once said. Being afraid means you care. Keep going. She took a deep breath. Start the countdown. Echo nodded. 10 seconds. The shadows screamed. They charged. Dax fought like a beast, covering Lyra and Echo, but he was surrounded. He yelled back, Go! The bomb activated. Light burst from it, not fire, not heat, but pure thought. It hit the shadows like a wave. They screamed. Their shapes broke, their faces melted. Some tried to run, some begged, some just vanished. The hive shook. The black cloud began to crack. Dax smiled one last time. Tell Graves. We finished it. The light grew brighter. Then, silence. Far above, on Valkyrie 1, the crew watched the screen. The cloud around the planet broke. It faded away like smoke in the wind. Captain Graves stood, eyes wide. It's done, Kern said quietly. Graves nodded. They did it. But his smile faded when he asked, Are they still alive? No one answered. The signal from the shuttle was gone. Gone, but not forgotten.